recording. Okay, hi, it's John here. I've got Heather Morrow, and before we dive into that, imagine you just went overseas, had a great time at a festival, you danced the night away and everything, and as you get on your flight back home and you're ready to go back to work, unfortunately, on Monday morning, as the rest of us, you're suddenly not allowed to into the country. That's what's happening to some people. These folks who basically visited families. They're, you know, by no means an illegal immigrant in any extreme like that. And so what I wanted to talk about with Lisa was, excuse me, Heather, was that the sudden change that's happened. And, can you talk a little bit, Heather, about like kind of just what happened recently and explain to folks what is it that's kind of like really caused all this reaction and stuff?
Hi, John. Thanks for inviting me here. Yeah, it became kind of scary to me because I have some friends that are card holders, but are very much valid. They have basically the same rights as citizens, and they were refused entry back into the United States because they were outside when Trump, had this executive order signed, and there was a lot of chaos on Monday about this, and continued in on Tuesday, and they have since rolled back the ban, supposedly rolled back the
Hmm.
ban on green card holders. But when I'm just staying aware and researching, reading I'm actually a lot more up on current events than I've ever been since Trump's been elected, because things are just rapidly changing. We don't know what's going to
Right.
happen. So I in the process of researching that, I realized, wow, like green card holders particularly are probably, I would be very careful if I was a green card holder to make sure I knew
Right.
what the current laws were, or edicts or whatever, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, I just posted on the Facebook message, underneath where you just promoted this link,
Hmm.
about how a lot of people who are working in tech, a lot of people, I'm not. I mean, I'm a citizen, but who knows what's going to happen? It seems like right now, it seems to me that this administration is somewhat unpredictable, and I just encourage everybody to be really do their best to be well informed and educated. I mean, be careful of your sources too, because there's a lot
Hmm.
of people out there just saying that, oh my gosh, nobody should ever travel out of the states anymore because you won't be able to get back in. I mean, crazy stuff. So
Right.
be careful and filter what you're reading. Look for people that are just slamming Trump, because who knows, whether I voted for him or not, he's our president now. So we're going to do our best to figure out what he's putting together and try to stay informed so that we can support the best for all, whatever that may be.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, the key is to stay informed. I mean, just up till a few years ago, even, Homer's wife, Christina, was a green card holder. And so, that's the thing that, like, it could be just somebody, like, who really is here, they're doing what they're supposed to. They're not at all, kind of, here, like, illegally by any means and stuff like that. They're working towards their citizenship, and they may leave the country, go to Buenos Aires, whatever stuff, take a trip, and then as they come home, suddenly the rules change. I mean, as you said, luckily things have kind of normalized a little bit, but it's still ongoing and still changing, stuff like that. I mean, the whole thing, I think part of what's interesting that's is driving all this is Trump's saying that, like, hey, if you're here illegally, if you are a threat to this country. That's really, like supposedly what the whole purpose of this is and stuff. I mean, what would you say to, like, kind of? I mean, on the one hand, we, like you said, he is now our president, and he's basically, the this is an executive order, which is basically a law and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, what else can we do to kind of basically stay informed? What else can we do to kind of basically not get caught up in some of this?
Well, number one, I back up for a second. When I said green card holders, I want to be clear that what's at stake right now are card holders from the 7 countries mentioned.
Oh, okay,
That's It's only those green card holders that are having issues. Everybody else is fine. And
got it.
that being said, it's like Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Somalia, Libya. What am I missing? Um, there's like one or two more, but it's posted on the web, because I'm not from those countries, so I don't think of it. So I apologize if anybody listening is. But those are the people from those countries that need to be more aware, and they probably know that already. But the rest of us, I think, just staying conscious and being aware of what's happening. Write your senators, write your congressmen, let them know how you're feeling, because believe it or not, that actually has a huge effect. Most of us have never had to even do that or
Yeah.
even thought about doing that in our lifetimes. But we want to let people know how we feel. We want to let our government know how we feel. I mean, if anything, this new administration is putting fire under all of our butts to make us actively speak our minds. And most of us are just speaking it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And that's a good start, but we get caught in our own bubbles, which then gets us really confused when things and the administration becomes the administration that it does, when some of us were on one side of the coin, and now all of a sudden the other side is up and we're confused. How could this be? Because my entire world believes just like me, because that's what
Mm,
Facebook did to a lot of us. So just trying to, I really encourage people to seek out people with differing opinions right now. Have conversations with them, have open-hearted conversations, because this is a situation where we have to understand the other side and have honest, loving conversations where we're not just immediately judging people and shutting down and flinging mud at each other, but like figuring out, well, why do you believe this? Because there's some points to it. I mean, even that the new chief court justice nominee, I mean, he's a Republican nominee, Trump's putting him up, but I actually think he might be actually a pretty decent pick, from what I've been reading about him. Surprisingly, I was like, wow, I'm like, so it might not all be horrible with Trump, because I'm now being open and honest about how I feel. But at the same time, I think we have to work with what we have. If it comes to the worst case scenario, we'll have to be ready. But that doesn't mean to walk around in fear and terror. I think
yeah.
that's like number one. Stay informed without being crazy, and turn off Facebook and your computer at night before bed so you can have some time before the craziness hits your head so you can sleep. I mean, that's all I say, is just stay informed and be aware that your one little voice makes a difference. And I think too often people are like, what's the point? Well, it's a big point, because right now it's just affecting, green card travelers or green card holders from those 7 countries. But I just don't know where it's going to go, because I feel this administration is unpredictable. And the best way to stay on that, I think, is just to, look on your news feeds through your phone or wherever, and make sure you're looking at some news feeds that aren't just liberal. Look for the conservative ones too. What are they saying? And we can all tell when we read something, when they just start saying this sucks, without any good credibility. Well, why does it suck? I don't know. I mean, we say the same things sometimes. I get too liberal at times. Huffington Post for me is almost too far left, and
Mm,
so I'm always trying to balance what I read, but don't
yeah.
overdo it so you're crazy.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, though, of just staying informed and like you said, having a balanced view. I think different times, as you also talked about, because people were in their bubbles and everything, that's where I think all of us are caught off guard. I mean, I think even if somebody was, had voted for, Trump and stuff like that, they were probably partially a little bit surprised that, like, wow, we actually won and stuff like that. I think that is their thinking and everything. Overall, it's that thing of where if you just are living in this, Facebook bubble and stuff like that, and not, reaching out to different people, not seeing, like you said, different sources, then it's like, that's just a thing of being caught, blindsided stuff. What are some other resources though? Like, let's say somebody is like, detained and like they can't get in and stuff like that. Do you know of any other folks who like, or other things that like are good resources?
Yes, actually, there's a great immigration lawyer in Denver named Lisa Batten. We talked about that before the call. She is a great resource, and you can find her and connect with her on Facebook. And there's probably other immigration lawyers a lot closer to where some of these people live. Call an immigration lawyer; they will all tell you what they know right away. You
Right.
know, she's just the resource that I know because I personally know her, and she's a tango dancer. But I'm sure there are other immigration lawyers in the tango world too. And reach out and ask them what's going on, because I'm sure they can help.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's the key is like basically, getting folks who specialize in that because, it's great if somebody is an attorney, but then they deal only with like trademark and copyright stuff, but that's like really not going to help somebody who's dealing with the immigration services and stuff. And a lot of times, part of it too is like the connections. Like certainly that's what we definitely know from the Tango world is like it's great to have Lisa or somebody who like they specifically deal with that, and then other times more than likely they know other folks who deal with similar issues, or they may even know like kind of specific immigration folks and people who like in fact, now that we were talking, I'm reminded now of a friend who actually works with TSA. So she may even be a resource, possibly. So it's like that thing that like we have to kind of remember who's available and who we know, and then other times it's that second or third degree. Like it's often not even so much who they know directly, but maybe they know of a friend who knows of a friend, kind of thing and stuff. It's staying in touch with each other as well as staying informed with the information. Any other kind of like different things that you've seen that like really people need to kind of stay on top of, aware of, like something that's kind of just surfacing along with this?
Well, I think especially within the Tango community, we have each other, and we are a community, which is really important, is to remember we have a community, and so if anyone gets caught, traveling internationally and can't get back to the States, by all means, remember that you have the community in in this Tango world. And so reach out to us, because somebody, if you're stuck in some country, in some city, where you just spent all your money to go to this great festival, you had an incredible time, remember you can reach out to the people around you. And we're a loving community. I mean, it's all about heart to heart connection with what we do. So, I can't promise you that somebody will reach out, but I encourage you to reach out, because I think that everybody, we are that kind of community, is that we're there to help one another. And I think that we all want the best for each other. And so, I think our community and leaning on community is important, especially
Absolutely.
when things get, I wish I could say more. I'm not an expert. I'm going to say right now, I'm not an expert. I'm just another person who travels a lot for Tango whenever possible. And, and even when I'm traveling for other reasons, for work, I'm right now I'm supposed to be going to LA this weekend, and already I'm thinking, oh my God, LA International Airport, there could be protests. There could be, it might slow things. So I'm trying to give myself extra time to travel,
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Keep space for that. And I think it's important, as Americans, we're so used to just have carte blanche whenever we travel around the world.
Right.
Well, right now, I think this administration is not so well liked abroad, so I think we need to be aware of that and remember that and recognize that as Americans, we might just have to be a little more conscious, a little more careful, a little more respectful than usual when we're traveling in other places, because we may not be well received and not have nothing to do with us personally, but just from the administration that's now in power in our country.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I remember also from serving in the military different times. Is like sometimes when tensions are up, it doesn't even have to be a Middle Eastern country and stuff. I mean, different times that happened even with China. That certain times I was not able to get into China because of who right now is a trade partner and stuff. But there's even rumors like that tensions are building up there as well. So it's just, you never know. Like on the one hand, there's these 7 countries that like are right now the hot topic and stuff like that. But at a given basis or a given day, this could change yet again. So we, as you said, we have to stay aware, stay in touch with each other, let each other know what's going on and stuff. And absolutely. So what's the best way for folks to reach out to you, to kind of connect with you, and to find out more just about what you're doing?
Well, I run the Aspen Tango community, and aspentango.com will be back up by this weekend. You can always find me on Facebook, Aspen Tango. My email, hjemorrow@gmail.com, but it's also Heather@aspentango.com once it's all back up and running. But please shoot me a message if anybody's traveling through Colorado and wants to connect via Tango or anything else. Let me know. And I travel to LA monthly, so I look forward to connecting. That's the best thing that I can think of. And always give me a call. That's also a great direct way.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, John. Bye.